It's funny how traveling and living in another country can change you. Before moving to China, I thought it was some communist country that mistreated its people and ruled with an iron fist. But after living here for 12 years, I have to admit that there are many things I love and like about China. There are things I still hate about living in China, don't get me wrong, but that'll be a different video. In this video, I asked some of my American friends to help me explain 12 different reasons why we like living in China, so let's jump right in with my friend Becky.
Hey guys, I'm Becky. I'm an American that's been living in China for 13 years. And when you live in another country, of course you change. You're exposed to a lot of new ideas, new activities, new hobbies. But I made a major change in my time in China. I went from an art wallflower kid to a total sports jock. At the age of 40 in Xiamen City in southern China, I picked up a badminton racket to play with some friends. In America, badminton is just a backyard barbecue kind of sport played for fun. But it is actually the second most played sport in the world. It is the fastest racket sport in the world, and it is a huge, serious thing in China. So I was introduced to it here, and I absolutely fell in love, and I don't even know why, because I don't like working out, I don't like sweating, I still don't, but I found a passion and an excitement for badminton at age 40 that I never could have guessed would happen.
Becky isn't the only foreigner I have met that cultivated a passion while living in China. I have met people that love calligraphy, tea culture, sports, tai chi, and more. China has a lot to offer that isn't always easy to find outside of the country. But life isn't all about fun and games. My next friend Keli will explain one of the main reasons young Americans like living in China.
Hi, my name is Keli and I'm an American living abroad in China. I've been living in China for the past 3 years and I've recently moved from Suzhou to Shanghai. When I was looking for a place to live abroad, I really wanted to make sure that the cost of living was affordable. Since moving to China, my cost of living expenses have gone down tremendously. Fruits and vegetables are a lot cheaper to buy, and if I'm not interested in cooking, I can always order takeout and it's also relatively inexpensive. In our apartment in Suzhou, we are paying less than we would if we would have been living in that exact same apartment in the United States. For our 3-bedroom and 2-bath, it was only $700 a month when we could have been paying well over $1,000 in the States. These are just some of the many examples of how the cost of living in China is really affordable. Over the past 3 years, I've not only been able to save money, but I've also been able to pay off student loan debt. And this is one of the main reasons why I love living in China, because the cost of living is so affordable. My boyfriend and I are currently living in China, and we are sharing our travels through China and what it's like living in Shanghai on both our Instagram and YouTube channel. Make sure to go check it out if you're interested in seeing what life is like for us.
Although inflation is on the rise, China is still affordable, and I have met many people that have been able to pay off debt back home or save for a house. Yvonne and I have actually been able to save a good amount of money for retirement or a down payment on a home when we leave China. And the only way people make money is by working. So let's talk about work. Number 10 on this list is working in China. I have done a lot of different jobs over the last 12 years. I have taught English at 2 different universities, worked in software review, and I have done international marketing. If you watched my last video, you will know that I wasn't planning on living in China for so long. But once it became clear I was going to stay here, I found a job in my profession. I studied marketing and management at university and was able to work for the largest oil company in China. I also worked as a marketing manager for a large media company here. There are many different job opportunities in China, which is one of the reasons I like living here and have stayed for so long. The next reason why many Americans love living in China will be explained by my friend Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I'm an American who's been living in China for 7 years. First in Hunan province, then Guangzhou, and now in Beijing for 4 years. So one of the top questions I get as an American living in China is China safe? And my answer is yes, China is a very safe country to live and travel in. Since I came to China, I've lived in these 3 cities by myself, and I've also taken dozens of solo trips around the country. I've taken trains, planes, taxis all by myself, stayed in hotels, and I've also been hiking on many mountains and been to many scenic areas all by myself solo. I've even been walking home alone from the bar at 3 o'clock in the morning by myself, and I've never felt unsafe here in China. Also, a reason it feels so safe is because Chinese people are so friendly and hospitable. As a foreigner, you might get some stares and people might ask for your photo, or they're curious when you come to their city or you're traveling, but overall, everybody is very friendly, very kind. Of course, if you're traveling just like anywhere you would go, use safety precautions, use common sense, and do lots of research before you go anywhere. But overall, China is an amazing country to explore. If you want to see more of my travels around China, check out my channel, Rachel Meets China.
I hate to say it, but America doesn't always feel safe. I really don't want to take Yvonne to the US because she is not familiar with the dangers there. I definitely wouldn't want her working in a school in the US. But enough about that. Ben and Noah want to explain one of the main reasons they love living in China.
Greetings, my name is Noah and I'm an American who's been living in China for 2.5 years. One of the major reasons I love living in this country is because of its rich history and diverse culture. Each province of China is like its own country with its own dialect, cuisine, and thousands of years of unique traditions. I could spend a lifetime in this country and still wouldn't come anywhere close to fully comprehending it. If you're interested in learning more, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, Noah Kartha.
Yo, this is Ben Cubbage. I have lived in China for 11 years. I have an adventure travel business in Western China at elevatedtrips.com. And why do I love living in China? It's because of the culture. For me, the culture is super unique, and specifically for me, because I live in Western China with Tibetan culture, this is one of the last living nomadic cultures in the world, and that is super significant for me. That's really what attracts me to China. I love the wildness, the freedom of the Tibetan people. They still ride horses, they still walk in the mountains, they still herd yaks up at 14,000 feet in a ultra-urban society in Shenzhen and Guangzhou and Shanghai. It's great to see that there's still people living wildly in the mountains. These people live entirely off the yak. The yak is everything to them. They use yaks for their transportation. They use yaks for their clothes. They use yaks for their milk and their meat. They even use yaks for burning their stoves and for creating heat. In a world when we're often on our phones and we're kind of glued to screens, it's a nice reminder to see these beautiful mountains and these beautiful people living wildly and living naturally with the land and the ecosystems around them.
I can't count the times that I've been in a small town or village and been blown away by the history and culture of the area. It can be overwhelming compared to the relatively short history of the United States, and when I'm overwhelmed, I do nothing, which brings us to our next point, which is convenience. I will be the first to admit that life in China can be very easy, in fact almost too easy at times. One of the reasons I like living in China is because of the convenience. Everyone knows China is a cashless society, but what does that actually mean? It means I can order anything, and I mean anything, to my door. From dinner to cat litter, I can get any product delivered, but it goes beyond that. I can get massages at home, and Yvonne can get her nails done at home. There are pet grooming services that will come to your house, and just about anything you need can be delivered or done at your home. Outside of deliveries, you have ride-sharing apps, subways, and high-speed trains, which makes living in China's biggest cities very convenient. The next thing on our list, and the main reason I stayed in China for so long, isn't always convenient or easy. Becky explains how her love for badminton also led to something else. But before talking about that, we've made it halfway through the list of reasons Americans love living in China. If you've made it this far, I'm pretty sure you like this type of content, and it would really help the video if you hit the like button, because it'll push it out to more people, especially Americans who may not think much of China and might think it's a bad country. But let's move on and back to the list.
I didn't just find a love of a sport. I found a love of a person as well. This is Ajay. He's my badminton partner and boyfriend for the past 5.5 years. We met because of badminton. We would play together sometimes. He would be my partner, and he would just kind of quietly be behind me, letting me go for the shots, and if I missed it, he would pick it up for me, and he never criticized me, and he never made me feel bad for losing or making a mistake. And all of those qualities were for a very good badminton partner. And then I realized that's a good quality in a boyfriend too. So we have been together and we play all the time in competitions together. But of course, now that we're a couple for so long, we fight all the time when we play badminton. I would not recommend being a romantic partner with your sports partner, because we don't fight much in real life, but we fight a lot on the badminton court. But this sport and this hobby has totally taken over and changed my life for the better, and I never would have found it back in America. So very grateful that I found a passion in sports late in life. Okay, that's it. You can check me out. I have a YouTube channel, Badminton Becky, or you can find me on Badminton Becky on all the socials.
If you watched my last video, you know I stayed in China because of Yvonne. I know many foreigners that have found their partners while living here. Sometimes meeting people from different backgrounds and cultures can spark something you never expected, which leads us to our next reason why many Americans love living in China. Living in the US can be limiting. Even though we call it the melting pot of the world, it isn't really true. Yes, America has a lot of immigration, but it is very easy to get stuck in your own group, and not every city has foreigners. So one of the things I like about living in China is the international mindset that comes with living abroad. I have a wife from Europe, I have had a boss from Iraq, friends from India, and I have met people from all over the world. Because China has attracted many people from all over the world, it is easy to meet like-minded people and learn about different cultures and customs. Not to mention all the Chinese colleagues that I have worked with over the years. And having an open mind can lead to our next point. Ben, who runs a tour company, will explain another reason he loves living in China.
When a lot of people think about opportunity in China, they think opportunity to live in big cities, access to shopping malls, access to education, and all the stuff that comes with the big cities in China, which is great. But for me, the opportunity that I love the most about China is the opportunity to explore. It's actually allowed me to become a member of the Explorers Club, which is an elite club in the world that explores remote destinations. Of course, Neil Armstrong is a member of this club, and it's also allowed me to be an explorer in the Tibetan Plateau. I love going into remote destinations where no foreigner has gone, at 14,000, 15,000 feet in the mountains, and having the opportunity to be one of the first foreigners there, to be one of the first people there ever that have ever traveled in these places. And for me, that remoteness, that desolateness, exploring the Tibetan tundra, that really is exciting. And there's places like Qinghai, Gansu, Sichuan, Yunnan province, even the Tibet Autonomous Region, these places still have wild and relatively uninhabited areas. And it's nice to see that in a world that's kind of progressively urbanizing and quickly becoming just one large shopping mall, that there's still some wild places. And so for me, the opportunity in China is the opportunity for wildness.
Like I said before, there have been many opportunities over the past 12 years. Many people who have moved here are looking for a better life, and a better life usually includes the next point.
Hi, my name is Aleese Lightyear, and I am an American who has been living in Beijing, China for the past 3 years. There are loads of reasons why I absolutely love living in this country. I mean, the food, traveling, the culture, but for me, one of the most important reasons why I continue to stay here and thrive is the money. So before I moved to China, I was living right in New York City in Manhattan. But I would say in general, my lifestyle and quality of life is just as good as it was when I was living in New York City, but 60% cheaper. I am able to make a lot of money at my job and save half of it. Literally, I make 30,000 RMB a month. I save 15K almost every month if my Taobao addiction doesn't get in the way and I don't go out every weekend. But we won't talk about that. In a perfect world, in a perfect world, I could save 15K every single month, and that money goes to paying my student loans, paying credit card debt, helping my family, and just, of course, my savings. So that is one of the biggest draws that got me to this country and is a big reason why I stay in this country. It's just so much cheaper compared to the US, and your money just stretches so much longer. And I am just so grateful to be in finally a good financial position. I think a lot of Americans my age who have student loan debt are always very stressed out about how are we gonna pay for this, along with paying for insurance and housing and everything else in life. Well, I have taken that problem away. I am finally in a position after graduating 10 years ago where I can finally make monthly regular student loan payments to pay down those loans, and that is amazing. And if you want to learn more about my life in China, then please go head over to my YouTube channel. It's the same as my name, Aleese Lightyear. Check it out and subscribe.
As a foreigner, it is possible to make a good amount of money depending on which field you work in. I know principals and teachers that make 2 to 3 times as much money working in China versus back home. And of course, if you are making money, you want to spend it. Which brings us to reason number 2 for living in China.
The main reason I love living in China so much is because of the endless travel opportunities here. Whatever kind of travel destination your heart desires, modern megalopolis, breathtaking natural scenery, or rich historical relics, China has got it all. In particular, I've fallen in love with this country's countless ancient towns, just this picturesque maze of alleys, and turning down each one, you never know what kind of surprise you'll find. Maybe a delicious local restaurant serving some dish you've never heard of. Maybe an amazing historical landmark, or possibly some kind of intriguing, exotic local custom. And it is quite convenient to travel anywhere around the country with the high-speed rail. The prices are quite reasonable, and I find the ride to be very comfortable. However, as you may have guessed, COVID has put a bit of a damper on traveling here at the moment. But even just exploring within my province, Sichuan, or within Chengdu, the city I live in with a population of 16 million, it's so easy to discover travel gems all around you. If you're interested in checking some of them out, make sure to head on over to my channel, Noah Kartha.
I think we can all agree that traveling in China and Asia is a big draw for many foreigners living here. Although it has been harder to travel in recent years, it is still a major reason people like living in China. That brings us to our last reason, but before I reveal that, I really would like you to hit that like button if you're still here, because it will push it to more people. But let's move on to the final reason many Americans love living in China.
Hi, I'm James and I'm from the United States. I've lived in China for 3 years now, and one of the things I love most about China is the food. When I lived in the US and I went to a Chinese restaurant, I always got the same 3 things. A fried rice, a lo mein, and sweet and sour chicken. And that's pretty much all I thought Chinese food was, because every Chinese restaurant served the exact same thing. When I came to China, I was shocked at how different the food was and how much variety they had. At first, I was very nervous to try new food, but it has now become one of my favorite things to do while traveling in China. China has such a variety of food, whether it comes to hot pot, to noodles, to dumplings, to barbecued meats. There's always something new to try. If you're interested in seeing me try new food throughout China, check out my girlfriend and I's YouTube channel, James and Keli.
This isn't much of a surprise considering how bad American food tastes. The variety of food here is amazing. I have many food videos on this channel, and I would love for you to check them out. So there you have it, 12 reasons Americans love living in China. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and all the other ones, and if you want to see why I moved to China, you can click here. Hope to see you in that video. Bye bye.